the citizens of the electorate who, through their vote, have bestowed upon me the most sacred duty of representing them both within and outside this noble chamber. To every man, woman and child of Drysdale, I pledge myself to you, to act, to speak, and to live in accordance with the values I presented to you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this tenure, and please know that I take nothing for granted. I will fight day in and day out for you and your families. As I take on this role, I am reminded that a politician is above all a servant. We are here not for ourselves, but for the people who have entrusted us with this sacred duty. My life has been dedicated to service. I was honoured to serve the late Queen as a commissioned officer in the Royal Australian Armoured Corps, a service I previously thought would be the greatest civic duty of my life, but in this I am pleased to be wrong. For it is this duty, in service to the people of Driver, Grey, Gun and Palmerston City, that I find the greatest of civic responsibilities. My election to this chamber is one that proves the inherent fairness in our Westminster system, that I, as a local father, could and would proceed to challenge the then leader of the Territory Government for my daughters and for the people of Drysdale. I would defeat a sitting Chief Minister so that we may change the course of history and bring justice to our streets. That is the type of people we are in Drysdale. I promise the people courage, and for their trust I will repay them with grit, determination and decisiveness. I will never give up in fighting for them. We are an aspirational people in Drysdale. We wish to build wealth, create a sense of community and better lives for our children. We seek justice to return to our streets so that we can continue living free and prosperous lives. We value our inherent liberties and do not seek the overburden of bureaucracy and government in our lives. We wish to live and let live so that our community can prosper and together we can raise the opportunity afforded to each and every one of us. To all my volunteers, members of the CLP Calder branch, including Suzanne Kavanagh, Mike Delosa, Marcus Tummels and Kay Stevens, our party president Shane Stone, and everyone who helped me along the way, I thank you for your tireless efforts and for helping me liberate Drysdale. To Alison Hannon for managing the party's campaign, and to Penelope for managing the Drysdale campaign, I'll be forever grateful for your efforts. I wish to thank the Palmerston team, especially Member for Brennan, Marie-Claire, for your mentorship, constant guidance and unwavering support since I first came to you with the idea to run. To the Member for Blaine, Matt Curl, for your camaraderie and mateship of campaigning together and our shared vision of the future. And finally, to our Chief Minister, Lia Finocchiaro. Through your tenacity and grit, you have shown boundless courage in taking on government, and day after day restoring the reputation of the Country Liberal Party. Through this, you have been an unwavering champion of liberal conservatism, and for that I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your years of sacrifice, and I am proud to serve as part of a Finocchiaro Country Liberal government. My campaign was a long and hard-fought battle. It would make my Duntroon instructors proud to know that I planned my campaign around the 10 principles of war and executed my plan precisely as I set out to. My plan was based on the idea of commitment and hard, grueling work. I door-knocked over 6,000 houses, and I can tell you the ABS data is wrong because there is exactly 3,838 doors in Drysdale, because I went to every single one and I did it again. My family sacrificed greatly as we gave up significant income. In fact, there were entire weeks in my campaign in which I consumed simply Weet-Bix and milk, breakfast, lunch and dinner. I do not complain, for this is the self-sacrifice that comes with running for office. On these doors, I met thousands of my fellow citizens. I've listened to the countless stories of suffering from seniors, parents, police officers, nurses, teachers, and bus drivers, as tears welled recounting their stories of crime and abuse at the hands of criminals. I assure you, no matter how broke I was, how sore my feet were, I would never give up on them. Amongst all this, there were many moments of joy, including organising our Night for Digger, in which the Drysdale team raised funds for Mates and awareness for veterans leading into Anzac Day. We even pulled a World War II Army Jeep from the Palmerston Cenotaph to Sanctuary Lakes and gave the member for Blaine and Chris Sivitrees and I one hell of a workout. Deputy Speaker, my life has been defined by service, whether it was as a youth worker helping at-risk young men find their path, or as an Army officer leading soldiers through the challenges that tested not just our skills but our character. I've always believed that true leadership comes from a deep-rooted sense of duty to others. It is this philosophy of service that guides my approach to public office. As the member for Drysdale, I see my role not as one of power, but of responsibility. Politicians are, first and foremost, servants to the people. We are here to enable the success and well-being of those who place their trust in us. Government should not seek to control, but to empower individuals to lead free, productive, and meaningful lives. Our job is to build the foundations that allow people to stand tall on their own terms. My journey with the Northern Territory began when my father decided to relocate the family here in the 90s, following the economic prosperity that this place, the Territory, could offer. I arrived in the Territory as a young, impressionable boy at the age of 6. The sense of adventure and wonder of this place gripped me instantly. I was soon enrolled at the Essington School Darwin in Rapid Creek, where I received an education from primary to middle school under the leadership of Principal David Cannon, who remains the greatest educator I've encountered. Here I met lifelong friends, such as Marcus, who is here in the gallery today, and his wife Penelope, both who have been great supports. For my senior education, I was fortunate enough to have received a partial scholarship to attend Geelong Grammar School, where my love of history and politics blossomed. Thanks to Mr. Featherston, my Year 12 history teacher. It was there that I first encountered the once revolutionary ideas of the Enlightenment and saw firsthand the dangers posed by broken political systems. Although not here today, I wish to acknowledge my good friend and confidant, Angus Dowling, from my time at boarding school, with whom I have shared years of friendship. May we continue to quote Gladiator, Braveheart, and Predator until we are old men. In 2012, I marched into the Royal Military College, Duntroon, where my mind and body were shaped to lead soldiers into war. I graduated as a tank troop leader in the 1st Armoured Regiment. So as I joined the Army for great adventure, I would find my first posting right back here in Darwin. There is simply too many fine men and women who influenced me in the Army to individually acknowledge. However, may this chamber know, the Australian Defence Force is filled with some of the greatest and noblest our nation has to offer. My time in the Army was filled with camaraderie, learning, and the honour of serving under our nation's flag. Though I never saw the face of war, I will always stand for those who have served, ensuring that the Territory remains a place where veterans can rediscover their sense of service. For my praise upon the ADF, there are many within our community that carry the scars of service, both at war and peacetime, and I will always be a voice for my fellow veterans who still suffer. I would then join my father, and together we expanded Master Air Conditioning. My first contract saw me once again back at Robertson Barracks. It seems I could not escape, but I found the skills the Army had trained in me of incredible use on the construction site. There was, however, no hiding the fact that the Northern Territory construction industry was deeply suffering. Relying wholly on Commonwealth government contracts, the health of our economy brought me great concern. This is why I will forever advocate strongly for the construction industry. Inspired by Victor Hugo and his story of second chances in Les Mis, I hired men on release from Holt's prison to have entry-level positions in the construction industry. We had great success. However, following a review of defence contracts, the work pipeline froze, making life significantly harder for these men keen to change their lives. I know what it means not to pay yourself for weeks, even months on end, to ensure your people are looked after. This is the reality of small business throughout the Territory, and in me they find a friend so that together we can look after our workforce, grow it, and provide opportunities to those who wish to change their lives for the better. In arriving here today, I reflect on the many people who shaped me into the man I am, and in the spirit of gratitude, I offer my heartfelt acknowledgements. From my father, I learned courage, grit, and the value of never giving up. Like a prayer, my father had my brother and I recite the words, "Never ever give up," every night before bed, and it worked. He taught me to fight, to take up arms against a sea of troubles. From my mother, I learned how to nurture and be nurtured, and for providing solace in the dark. I thank you for your constant love. From my late brother, I learned the bonds of brotherhood, mateship, loyalty, and honour. From my late sister, loyalty, spontaneity, and compassion. From my wife, companionship, family, and trust. From my daughters, I have discovered unconditional and never-ending love and the importance of kindness. From my stepfather, I learned commitment and the art of listening. From my grandmother, perseverance. From my late grandmother, grace. And from my late stepmother, independence. Deputy Speaker, as my story shows, education has always held a special place in my heart and is the vehicle to every success in my life. It is through education that I found the key to opportunity, and it is through education that I believe we can unlock the potential for every person in the Northern Territory. Education is more than a tool for employment, it is a tool for understanding, wisdom, and true freedom. As Carl Jung taught, knowing oneself is the beginning of all wisdom, and it is education that provides the framework for self-discovery, for the development of individual potential, and for cultivating a mind that can think critically and navigate the complexities of modern life. Great minds have helped shape my thinking throughout my life. From Homer, I learned the timeless value of courage and heroism. Hugo and Dickens opened my eyes to the struggles of the downtrodden. Hardy taught me the need for equality. Jung illuminated the human psyche, while Nietzsche taught me to embrace adversity and find strength in struggle. Peterson challenged me to pursue meaning amidst chaos, and Orwell warned me of the dangers of tyranny. Let it be known, I will never submit to the kind of oppressive regimes Orwell warned us about in Animal Farm and 1984, where truth is twisted and facts rewritten. No matter how many times they say it, 2 + 2 will never equal 5. At the heart of any thriving society is a strong economy. We must place the economy first, for it is the vehicle that provides the noble pursuits of government. A strong healthcare system, a better education system, funding for research, and many other facets to improve our lives and that of our children. It all needs a strong economy. Currently, the public sector is the largest employer and offers the highest wages in the Territory. While our public servants do vital work, this imbalance is stifling the growth of our private sector. When talent is drawn primarily to government roles, we miss out on the creativity and innovation that could thrive in a dynamic private market. To foster a truly competitive and innovative economy, We must focus on growing our private sector so it can offer wages and opportunities that drive entrepreneurship and productivity. At the heart of everything I do is a commitment to courage. Courage is not just a virtue, it is the foundation of every action worth taking. As Winston Churchill once said, courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities because it is the quality that guarantees all others. It is only through courage that we can pursue justice, protect freedom, and fight for the values that define our community. That is why I made Time for Courage my campaign slogan. The challenges we face today, whether they be economic, social, or cultural, require bold and courageous leadership. I will not back down from the hard decisions or from standing up for what is right. For every citizen of Drysdale, I pledge to act with courage, knowing that it is the key to everything else that we shall achieve. In any society that values freedom, the right to speak openly and honestly must be held sacred. In a world where ideas are often silenced, it is essential that we protect the right to free speech, even when it is uncomfortable. It is only through the open exchange of ideas that we can challenge falsehoods, refine our thinking, and grow as a society. But with freedom comes responsibility. And I hope to inspire the young minds of Drysdale to take up ever greater responsibility and exercise the greatest liberty of all, that of self-discipline. Deputy Speaker, the Northern Territory and particularly my electorate are facing rising crime, substance abuse and social disorder. My very own family was threatened by out-of-control use over a year ago. The families of Drysdale deserve to feel secure in their homes and communities. We cannot allow the erosion of the values that make our society strong. Our current approach often treats offenders as victims first through the lens of identity politics. But as I see it, true justice comes from personal responsibility. A society that believes in the strength of the individual must also hold them accountable when they violate the rights of others. We must foster a system of rehabilitation, yes, but that system must be built on a foundation of accountability and consequence. The path to rehabilitation begins with an understanding of personal responsibility. Real reform comes not from coddling, but from confronting one's own actions and striving for redemption. The family is the beating heart of society. As a father, I know firsthand the importance of being present and engaged parent. In my time in office, I hope to engage young and disconnected fathers throughout my electorate and teach that fatherhood is about guidance, protection, encouragement, nurturing, commitment, and love. Masculinity, when understood properly, is about using one's strength to serve, protect, and uplift others, particularly our families. This is not about gender roles, but the responsibility that comes with strength and the positive outcomes that stable homes with healthy, engaged fathers provide. It is through this ideal of masculinity and the role of men that I wish to combat domestic violence, for there is no honour or masculinity associated with harming those that we are meant to protect. We must do everything in our power to support families, to create a society where the family unit can thrive, whether that means supporting home ownership or ensuring that parents can balance work and family life. Our society's strength depends on the strength of our families. In today's world, we often speak of rights, but we must also speak of responsibilities. Citizenship is not just about claiming what we are owed, it is about contributing to the society we live in. Every individual has a role to play in making the Northern Territory a place of opportunity and prosperity. As citizens, we are given rights, but we also have obligations to our community, our country, and each other. We must vote, participate in civic life, respect the law, and support our fellow citizens. As citizens, we are part of something greater than ourselves, and it is only through this shared responsibility that we can build a stronger, more cohesive nation and territory. I am a proud 7th generation Australian, and my daughters are 8th generation. My family has a long history of service stretching from Gallipoli in France to the Kokoda Track and the Pacific. I will defend my own heritage and that of all Territorians. I am a patriot of this great land, dedicated to preserving its values and its promise for future generations. I sing Waltzing Matilda to my daughters, I stand fast for the national anthem, and I proudly face the Australian national flag. It is these values of individual responsibility, economic prosperity, education for self-realisation, accountability, love of nation and equality of the law that reflect what we are all about. As I stand here today, I will work tirelessly for the people of Drysdale with these clear objectives in mind: to reduce crime, to build the economy in the private sector, to improve education, to focus on men's health, leadership and families, to protect liberty and freedom, and to protect equality under the law. We call Reveille on a new era of territory politics with our commitment to justice, liberty and opportunity for all. Let us build a territory where every individual has the opportunity to succeed, where division has no place and where we embrace the renaissance that lies before us. To my wife, I love you and cannot honour you enough. Your silent sacrifice may go unnoticed by the public, but it does not go unnoticed by me. None of this would be possible without you. May together we bring forth a brighter territory for our girls. To Emmeline and Cosette, I love you more than the whole universe. And may history show, when the wolves came, your father did what many said was impossible, and I did it because I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Member for Drysdale.